Introduce you to our top three. Of course, we have finishing third tonight, Jason Anderson, Ken Roxon, and your Anaheim 1 winner, Chase Sexton. And Chase, we'll start with you. You said post-race at the podium that you feel like you've gotten back to your old self, perhaps championship form, at least the speed of it. So just what are some of the emotions coming off of not just a win, but an Anaheim win?
I don't know. I feel like I'm still kind of like processing it. I mean, it obviously feels good, and it's cool winning Anaheim 1. It's a pretty hyped race, and I've came close. I've gotten beat by Ken and Jason at this race, so it was nice to come out on top. And to be honest, I just had fun riding today. I had a really good time on the track. The track was really busy, and I think that kind of plays into my favor. And yeah, we'll put a lot of work in this off season to get back to where I need to be, and it's been a long road, but it makes it feel even better.
Congrats, Chase. Now we're going to open it up to the media in the room. Starting out, Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra, Racer X. We'll stay with Chase over here. Obviously, this look like 2023 version of yourself. We know last year there was ups and downs. Do you feel like this performance tonight is repeatable week in and week out, no matter what the track is, no matter what the conditions are? Do you feel like you figured something out?
Yeah, I'm not planning on settling anytime soon. I still think there's stuff that I can be better, and I wouldn't say that it was a perfect race by me. There's stuff that I need to obviously improve on, and it's a long season, so I need to obviously go back to work, but also celebrate tonight, and then go back to work on Tuesday at the track. But yeah, today was definitely, I feel like, repeatable, and it was just nice feeling the flow again. I haven't really felt that since outdoors last year, and before that was in Supercross the year before. So felt the flow, and I felt bad. I ran over Eli the first lap. I had nowhere to go, and I felt bad. But it was a good race, and just had a really good feeling on the track.
I have a question. How does it feel to have an electric start? Come in handy?
Yeah, I think maybe you would still be sitting there if it was you. So the electric start came in handy tonight.
All right, this one's for Jason. It's Mike Lantonovich with Course Heading. I had a great conversation with Bruce Sternstrom at Kawasaki yesterday. And we talked about all the development that you guys have done on the motorcycle from last year to now, and then over this offseason too. How has it been for you to go through a very busy offseason, and then how was the bike tonight?
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that we did to our motorcycle was pretty in-depth. I think within our motor, it wasn't a normal off season as far as like bike changes and stuff like that, because usually I feel like I'm working on my chassis or they're finding power in a different area, but we changed our motor completely. So and it was really cool to see it work. I feel like we made progress with our bike, and I think obviously on the starts and everything, I think it's our racing, everyone's really close, so it's nice to have a bike that I feel like can get a better start and put me up there to have opportunity to get good results. So I think it's nice to show the work that we put in, and hopefully we can continue that, and I can better myself and put the bike up on the podium.
Chase from Gypsy Tales. There was a moment when you were on your kind of cool down lap and you kind of like looked to the sky. And to me, that looked like a sigh of relief more than excitement. Is relief sometimes a better feeling to feel in a moment like this than excitement? And I guess part two of the question would be, what did you learn about this championship picture tonight based on maybe who's sitting up there with you, who's not sitting up there with you on the podium tonight?
It was definitely a relief. Getting a win early in the season is always nice, like I said, but Anaheim 1, just being in California, this is like the birthplace of Supercross and motocross, so and also a big crowd tonight. It's always nice to win in front of a lot of people, so that was nice. And obviously, I like to enjoy it when I win, so I go take a little sight lap and enjoy it. But yeah, I think tonight was crazy. A lot of stuff going on behind me. I didn't really, or even Eli in front of me, so I don't really take into account. I just go out there and focus on myself, and that's one thing that I really tried to improve on, is just staying in my lane and being very tunnel vision as far as what I'm focused on. If I start worrying about other things, it goes south. So can't control anybody else. I can only control what I do, and that's I feel like when I'm tough to beat at least. So that's my goal, is to kind of replicate that every race and try and put myself in a good position. Like Jason said, it's hard to pass these guys. Everyone's so good, and everyone's on rails. So when you get a bad start, you're just putting yourself in chaos like I did in Vegas, and that didn't end up very well. So get good starts and get out front.
Hey, Ray?
Alex Ray, Swap Moto Live for Chase. You know, I know you mentioned a little bit, you know, you're happier with your bike. Did you find a setting in Supercross that's going to be more consistent, you feel, with, you know, softer conditions, harder conditions, and that sort of across the board?
Definitely. I was just more looking for a field all last year that I never really found. And in outdoors, I felt good, and I never really changed my bike, and it was a pretty awesome summer. But then I went back to SMX, and I kind of was like starting back at zero. I didn't really know where to go, and we didn't make much progress. And then this offseason, we really narrowed in on what we needed to work on. One was starts, and two was getting a better feeling on the bike. And it was actually Monday before this race this week that I found the feeling that I was looking for, or at least towards that direction. So last minute, but I knew after Monday we were going to be in a good spot, and I felt racy and back to kind of being explosive.
Dan Beaver?
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports for Kenny. On the podium, you said that you're actually happier to finish second or relieved to finish second. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Is it because of the difference in pressure, or because it keeps you hungry, or what?
No, I mean, I've won Anaheim, Anaheim won at least quite a bit. Stop looking at me. I have won Anaheim won quite a bit, and it kind of led nowhere. So it to me, it just didn't really mean anything besides like having 4 of them now, and then, you know, collecting another one is obviously sweet. But at the same time, I was just like, but also like I don't know, in general, like I was just stoked being on the podium because the last couple of weeks I haven't ridden much. It's been a bit rough because my whole family, we all got sick as a dog, and so I haven't ridden much. And but before I got sick, I knew that I was feeling really good, and obviously that's in me. So it was all about kind of just getting back to 100%, and so I can actually ask myself to, you know, go out there and be able to give it 100% and show the fitness that I have. So it was more so just like a kind of a relief, and it was just these games that I played in my head before the main event where I said, I'm like, you know what, a second place would be kind of like, it's like perfect, like not winning, because that has never led to a championship for me or anything, but second would be just kind of sweet, and then we ended up doing that.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live for you, Ken Roxon again. What was the difference from the day to the night? Because 14th in qualifying, did you have...
was good?
I mean, was there something that you found specifically, or was it just getting a start and getting up front, or what was it?
We were tinkering a tiny bit with the bike, not too much with suspension, but I was doing some gearing stuff, and it was just very hard pack and very slippery, and I haven't been in California conditions in forever, you know, I've just been in Florida, so we're just tinkering with stuff a little bit, but honestly, like that last qualifying session was a little bit me. I made the wrong choice in the beginning where I positioned myself to get a fast lap, and then I made a couple of mistakes when I tried to do a fast lap, and that messed me up. And then in a couple of laps, I got messed up by somebody else, and before you know, the practice is over, and then I was like 14th, and I'm like, I wasn't stoked about it by any means, but at the same time, I said right away that I was just calm. Like it didn't bother me too much, which that probably just comes from experience. I've been in these shoes a lot, and I knew when the gate dropped that I was going to be ready to go, and it kind of just proved it again. So I don't know. It's just racing. I put a lot more enthusiasm into my riding and into my focus than in practice, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. I just never really put it together in practice.
Sir?
Question for Chase, Jonathan McCready, GateDrop.com. With Jet getting 12th and you getting the win here, obviously Anaheim won, big momentum. Jet's always been able to sort of get the momentum back on you. Is this now a time for you to really put the pedal to the metal and try and get the momentum for yourself for a longer period?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, and there's a lot of stuff that can happen, so it's just the first race. And like I said, I'm only focused on what I can do, and I think that's my biggest difference from the years past. I've been focused on whatever everyone else is doing, and this year I really don't care. I'm just trying to be the best I can be on Saturday, and if that's winning, that's awesome. So I'm excited, but yeah, Jet will be back. He's a great rider, and looking forward to battling. But it's not just him. There's so many guys. Eli's really, really, really good. Jason, Kenny, Hunter, everyone is riding really well, and it can change in any given night. The series is long, and with this stacked of a field, it can change in a heartbeat. So for me, just focus on what I can do, getting good starts, and getting out of the chaos.
Scott Yarja, Moto Now blog. Chase, for the most part, everyone was doing the same obstacles tonight. Did you ever consider tripling into the long rhythm section, and were there other areas in the track that you thought you could maybe make up time?
I was hoping that no one was going to do it, because if someone did, I was like, I have to do it. And to be honest, it was like tripling over a Supercross face. It was super big and steep, and I actually this morning I'm like, oh, no one did it yesterday. And then I see a video of Deegan doing it. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. We're going to do it today. So thank God no one jumped it. But there was some room for some big jumps out there. Even like after the sand section, going outside, doubling across, and then you probably, if you would have seat bounced, you could have tripled it in the turn. If you could have cased it, you'd probably be in the first row of the seats. So it's just the 450s are so fast. You can jump pretty much anything you want. It's just how big of a balls you have and if you want to risk it or not. So for tonight, everyone was pretty mellow. No one was jumping anything crazy, but I'm sure it'll come this season.
Ryan Nitzen with Cycle News. My question's for Jason. Can you take us through the first opening laps? Cool to see you up front again. And then on the podium, I heard you say you had some broken spokes. So can you kind of elaborate, pushing the pace like that at the opening laps with some spokes on your front wheel?
Yeah, when I came out of the gate, I kind of got squirrely and tangled bars, and I ripped. I don't know, nothing crazy, but just like whenever you see him like hitting your fork, whenever you're in the air, it kind of it's nervous. Like you don't want your front wheel to blow out whenever you're riding. And then I started just making mistakes left and right because I was just thinking about my front wheel. But yeah, luckily I was able to get in a groove, and once I got passed by Kenny, I just tried to latch onto him and bring it in. So I had a little bit of pressure from Cooper at the end, but I'm just thankful my front wheel held together because I could have definitely been on the ground pretty hard because of that.
Johnny Hopper with the MX Unfiltered. Kenny, this one's for you. It appears that it's safe to assume the stock transmission works well, especially on the starts. I also saw your suspension. It worked really well through the whoops. And I made some videos about how you seem to be on rails, especially in the sand section. And during the main event, it looked like you were the only rider after the switchbacks was able to ride over it and then seat bounce and triple in the corner. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, that's where Chase stalled it. It was super tough because the rut was extremely tight around the tough block, and then it had massive holes in it. And I did it in the heat race and kind of just like for as long as I could. I mean, I did it literally almost every lap. I was just scared of stalling it there. Like, it's just such a slow turn, right? And our bikes have a lot of torque, and it's just very easy to do. And I was just riding my clutch there and you know, going for the triple. So I don't even necessarily know if it was faster or anything. I just thought it felt cool, so I just kept doing it, to be honest. So.
Jace?
This one's for all three of you boys. Watching the first practice today, it just seemed like the level in that practice was insane from everyone. Like, everyone that you looked at was ripping, and there just didn't seem to be this crazy separation that you kind of see from, like, 6th and 7th. I mean, like, Justin Hill was 6th at one point, and just did it feel, or does it feel like that in those first practice sessions where it's just like, dude, everyone is going so fast right now, and is it something you can actually feel out there?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you look at the list of riders, it is, you know, the top 10, 15, like they're all names that have won either 250 titles or races and 450 races. So that is kind of crazy. I mean, but the separation, I mean, I was 2 seconds off in every single practice. So there's definitely separation, I guess. I was a bit surprised, bummed out, but also not worried at the same time. A little bit of everything. But yeah, there's just a lot of dudes that can be up front. Like, you don't get the start. Like, it's tough.
Anton?
Hey, this is Michael again. This will be for Ken Roxon. This is a weird question considering where we're at in California and everything going on. So our thoughts are with everybody up north of us right now. But we know it's been super dry in California. And you've won Anaheim one a bunch of times in wet, soggy ones where they're gnarly transitions. How was it so dry out there? And they watered a ton over the last 2 days. So how did the track come around?
I mean, it ended up being super raceable. That was nice. It was nice to not have ruts in the transitions all over the place, like how it was last year, literally all year. Having said that, I feel like from years and years ago, this track, in my eyes, used to be a lot more clay-ish, where now it feels like you're riding on silty, kind of gravelly hard pack. Like, it is just so slippery out there. But, I mean, in the end, it was just a nice change of pace that it was, you had some actually, you could move around in the rhythm lanes and stuff, and you don't have to go for the prayer every lap just to make it around, And same with the whoops. The whoops held up pretty good. I mean, they were cut, but they were at least skimmable the whole time. I think we all skimmed them the whole time. So, I don't know. I think the tracks are always at its worst in practice. And then for the night show, I seem to enjoy them a lot more during the night show than during practice.
Sir?
Zach Newberry, Transworld Motocross, motocross.com. For Chase, when you had that mistake, was that because the mind wandered, or was that just a silly mistake?
No, I honestly, if I had to go back and do that turn, I'd probably do it the same. I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, but after I saw that, I started pulling the clutch and like getting a little bit of idle in there because I didn't want to stall it again. It made my race a lot harder having to have Kenny on me, and I didn't realize he was doing that triple where I saw that that didn't even cross my mind. So I just had to go back to work. But no, I really felt locked in the whole race. I didn't really have that mind wandering. I was really focused on what I was doing, and it's easy to focus when you're having fun too. If you're out there and miserable or not gelling with the bike or the track, it's it's hard to find the motivation to keep pushing or keep moving forward. But today I felt like I was really connected to the track and skimming the whoops. I jumped in the last couple laps. I didn't want to do anything stupid, but I skimmed the whole main event, and they weren't super easy whoops. They were decent size for Anaheim 1, and I just overall was locked in the whole main event.
We're going to continue. We're just going to open things up to our media online. In the meantime, feel free to keep that mic moving. Do you have another one, sir?
Yeah, just a question for Ken, Jonathan McCready, GetDrop.com. In the press conference yesterday, you said something like, when you were a championship contender, do you still believe you can win this Supercross title, and does tonight give you that boost of confidence?
I was going to say one thing. After I saw Ken win the heat race, I said, uh-oh, we've got a monster on our hands. I knew after that, because I talked to him after practice, he's maybe not so comfortable, but then after the heat race, I'm like, oh, God, here we go.
No, I don't know. I'm just a little bit more mellow. I guess back in the day, 2021, I think was the last time I was really, like, hunting for a championship. It seems just, like, so long ago, but it really isn't that long ago. So deep down inside me, I think I can, but I really just got to put it together over the whole season, and that makes me not wanting to worry about it too much. You know what I mean? And and that's also where I think just the calmness came from today. Been in these shoes a lot, and lately I've been far away from battling for a championship. But I think I wouldn't be out here if I wouldn't believe that I can still do something about it. And I don't know. Tonight was a good start for it, but I'm not too worried about the championship. I'm going to take it weekend by weekend. I think. I haven't been on the podium a whole lot in the last few years, never mind winning. So my goals are just weekend after weekend is putting it on the box because that's what feels good to me. And if I can do that, weekend in, weekend out, which I know is tough, just because I'm second out doesn't mean I'm going to do that, all year. But I can. So it's kind of fun just playing those mind games with yourself as well, what you're capable of and what can happen. And I don't know. Let's see where we are at the end of these 17 rounds, you know what I mean? I sure would love to be up there and keep it exciting. It's exciting for me, too, and for my family. I know my wife loves the racing side of things, too, and I don't know. We're just enjoying ourselves right now and wherever that may put me.
I think we have time for one last question. Jamie Guida?
Yeah, Jamie Guida, Vital MX. Chase, there's no secret that you focused on starts a lot this offseason. 2 great starts tonight. Can you give me a couple of specifics, what you worked on, what you changed on the bike, and maybe technique-wise what you changed?
Yeah, we changed a lot on the bike. I think the first thing we changed this offseason was the motor. Like Jason said, I feel like last year I was not down on power. Like I feel like our bike made good power, but it wasn't in the right spot. And I think, one, it needed more traction, and 2, coming from the Honda to the KTM, I never felt comfortable over the gate like I did on the Honda. I felt like my bars are really high in my face, and that was not allowing me to really dump the clutch and really be aggressive. I would feather it more, and then if I did wheelie, I would just pull the clutch in. And then also when I felt like the motor didn't drive well, I was just going the wrong way. So this year the team did a really good job at getting me a better motor, and then also we changed stuff on the bike as far as my seat's different, my hole shot device is lower, everything's just different. And tonight was a good start to get. I pulled the hole shot in the heat race, almost took everybody out in the second turn because I couldn't turn across the ruts. But
I did tell them or was thinking the same. They need to fix those ruts.
Yeah.
You can't turn them.
Well, I realized that after the race that I pretty much caused a huge bottleneck, which I didn't mean to, but I couldn't turn. So I think the start was actually kind of sketchy tonight. I think with the split lane, I locked bars with Cooper in the main event, and I think Ken locked bars with him, and then Jason and who'd you lock bars with? Jet?
Yeah, Jet and everyone else.
Yeah, so it was chaos, and you never see people crash in the start straight. But tonight, I feel like this has happened multiple times at A1 where people are locking bars and crashing in the middle of the start straight, which is not good. So, but overall, yeah, we've changed a lot of stuff for the starts and just the first round. But we're off to a better than last year. Last year, I fell in the first turn of the heat race. So, yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you and congratulations to Chase Sexton, Ken Roxon, and Jason Anderson. That will conclude our 450 portion. Class, one quick note I do want to mention, you guys may have heard us speaking about it on the broadcast tonight. Sold out crowd, once again, no surprise there. So it's great to see another packed house here at Anaheim. Now let's welcome our 250 podium. Winning this one, Joe Shimoda. Finishing second, Julian Beaumer. And third, Jordan Smith. Joe Shimoda, Joe, you have told us just how many changes you've made over the off season. I know you're so self-disciplined. You've been working so hard for this. So any sense of relief now that you got this big A1 win, or is it just business as usual?
No, simply I'm pretty stoked, right? Yeah, it's just my goal was to start the season good, and this is the best way to do it. So, no, I feel really, really stoked.
As you should. We'll open it up to questions from the media.
Mitch Kendrith, Racer X. We'll go to Jordan Smith here. Congrats on the podium with Triumph. Obviously, we know that you'd hyped up the bike a lot. We know the kind of rider you are here as a veteran. Can you be honest with us, did you still get impressed with the bike through the first race day conditions, first time in qualifying, first time heat race and everything? Just did the bike impress you from the test track, and was it a lot different?
It was definitely different. We confirmed a lot of things that, we thought that we had correct in practice, and you just don't really know coming into the race. We confirmed a lot of the stuff, and then also had to make some tweaks throughout the day. I was a little uncomfortable at the beginning of the day, especially in the whoops, and that's typically a strong point for me. So we made some bike changes throughout the day and got better there, and just kind of all night, the main event was the most comfortable I felt. So really happy with the whole, the bike and the changes, everyone working together as a team was good.
Jace?
Joe, mate. So in 2021, you were the first Japanese rider to win an AMA Supercross event. It's 2025. You're still the only Japanese rider to win a Supercross main event. So obviously it's very hard to do what you've done coming from Japan. So maybe just to talk about the feeling? Are you proud of yourself for what you've been able to achieve when other people haven't been able to do this? And then do you have any messages for any of the young Japanese riders at home that are looking at you tonight as somebody that may be paving the way for them? And if you could please answer in Japanese after, that would be great.
Well, I guess, like coming from Japan, it's like there's so much thing, like you can't just be fast. You have to kind of like how to communicate with people in the team, and I really struggle with that still, and like that's the hard part where it's so hard to see from outside what's actually happening, and I mean I've been getting better maybe each year, but I don't know. There's not like one thing. There's so many factors, and you can't really explain it on one speech. So.
And any words of encouragement for maybe some of the Japanese riders at home that are looking up to you, wanting to make it here where you are one day, and maybe answer that one in Japanese for them.
I'm pretty bad on speaking Japanese on speech because it's so different.
That's okay. You don't know.
Yeah, but no, like I will probably say English. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been like super serious when I was little. I think if I could have had a little more fun, I wouldn't be so pressured. Maybe that's affecting my first few races like so much because everyone is like putting work. We all know that, But the pressure is like where it kind of gets you, and maybe I've been struggling with that. And this year I moved to Florida. Everything seems more super chill over there. I spend my time like slowly, and then I think that helped me out.
Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. This is for you again, Joe. I took a picture of you when you won the main event, and it's pretty clear because I can see the colors of your eyes as you hit the finish line. And your eyes are wide open. And you live that's a lifetime goal. You actually got to do that. What did you see? Like when you jump that finish line double and you see a whole stadium, what does that look like from your perspective?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like just like winning race. Okay, like I'm stoked, but it's the whole experience. Like to have like the packed fans and first like winning A1 is like everyone's dream, So just the whole experience was really cool.
Dan Beaver.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports for Jordan. Can you talk a little bit about the significance of giving Triumph their first podium?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We had the owner, Nick, was here, and a lot of, just Triumph is, obviously it's a big company, but at the same time, like it's small. There's a small ladder of people, and Nick is the guy that if they need anything, like he's the guy that he is the final say. So having him here was really cool. I think he had a blast, and the whole team was just stoked afterwards. So. It was good. We have a lot of guys that, have been in the situation of podiums, and, Scuba and has won championships, in the past, and Jeremy Coker's won championships in the past, and I've had quite a few podiums. So, we have a lot of guys that have been in that position, but also a lot of guys there that haven't like experienced this. So, it was cool. It was a lot of fun. Everyone's stoked back at the rig. So, to be able to, that was part of the draw of coming to a Triumph, is like kind of to be able to hit those milestones for them and be part of that legacy.
Jeff Beaver, Whiskey Throttle Media. I want to congratulate all you guys for your podium positions tonight. A hell of a job. And this is specifically for Juju. With the track, Kenny said that it was kind of silty and marbly hard pack. As the day went on, did it start to play more and more kind of into your hand? The West Coast tracks and growing up in Havasu, where you kind of getting the vibe like, oh man, tonight's my night. I'm gonna be doing good. How did the track play for you, and how did that build?
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily like I didn't feel, even some days at the test track, like when the drier the track gets, sometimes I struggle a little more. So it wasn't. I don't think it played in my favor per se. I think it was me bringing what I bring from the test track to the race, and that was it.
Zach Newberry, Transfer Motocross, motorcross.com. For Juju, obviously, last year in Charlotte, you broke out with that second. Is that what you needed to get you to that level right now? Was that mentality like, hey, I can do this, and you just needed that real one race to say, hey, I can be up here? Is that kind of where we're at right now?
Yeah, I think that definitely helped boosting my confidence a little bit, but I think the biggest thing was this off season for me was perfect, and I put in a lot of work, and we worked our butts off all off season. So I think for me, I had a lot of confidence in the work I put in, and the way I was riding at the test track all off season. So I think that was the biggest thing for me.
And one more, Davey Millsaps, obviously a huge key part of your program. Can you talk about that, working with him?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think last year it was hard for me. Obviously, I started late with the training side of things and the work off the bike. So last year's boot camp was tough for me, and I think this year we were in a lot better space mentally and physically for boot camp, and it's been awesome. He's a great help, and we've worked our butts off. So
Scott Yarger, MotoNow blog. Joe, you mentioned the pressure coming into Anaheim 1 and how moving to Florida maybe helped focus you a little bit and feel less pressure and like the slower pace of life. Specifically, if you compare this year entering tonight to how you felt last year, like what's the difference? Like, are you able to like work on the nerves and try and minimize that pressure in your mind?
You know what? Actually, it's the quality of work. Nothing to bother over there. Nothing else to do, so I pretty much right.
Ryan Nixon from Cycle News. My question's for Jordan. Strong race for you, pretty busy race. I feel like initial laps you were like third, I think, and then I looked away, and then you were like fifth or sixth, and then came back. Strong pass on Ryder D there at the end. Can you kind of take us through the race and what happened where you kind of faded back there for a little bit?
Yeah, I got off to a pretty good start, but I was kind of like dead even with Joe, but he was on my inside and he got the whole shot, so I kind of got pushed out a little bit and shuffled back. And got up to third pretty quickly, and then went to that inside rut on that little like shelf, whatever you want to call that little inside turn. And there was two ruts, and I went to the inside one and caught my clutch lever on the tough block. And then instead of kind of like just bouncing off of it, it drugged the tough block with me for like 5 feet, and just like I was on the power, but my bike wasn't going. It was like I hit neutral and just tipped over, had to pick it up off the tough block, lost a couple spots, and then I was kind of had some clear track once I got going, and started putting in some like pretty good laps, and could kind of see in front of me, and I was like, okay, I really think I can maybe get back to a podium spot. So made some good changes on the bike for the main, and I was able to push the whoops a lot better, and so I knew that was like a kind of a passing point for me, or I could at least set people up there. So then Garrett ended up going down, and so then. I had Cody and Ryder D in front of me, and my fitness has been really good all off season. Like I've built such a good base throughout last year of doing every round, especially with outdoors that I haven't had in the past. So I know that I'm really strong at the end of the motos, and so I just kept putting my laps in, and the track was getting pretty slick. So I actually backed down a little bit and just tried to make smart decisions towards the end of the race.
Adam, sorry about that.
Go for it.
Adam for Track Talkers Media. This question's for Joe. The 250 main event, you got the start you needed, and I really think that changed your whole season. In the heat race, we didn't see that start. Were you stressing after that heat race? What did you change to get that start in the main?
Yeah, well, I had a good jump actually on the heat race, and wheeled out a little bit on the straightaway, so I don't know, just went back to the truck, watched some videos and datas, and tried to fix, and it kind of worked out.
So you're saying that was 100% data, not Joe?
Oh, it's me. Like my mistake on data. I'm saying.
Thank you,
Jamie Guida.
Julian Beaumer, we talked recently about some things that you were frustrated with last season. You mentioned press day crashes, needing to pass quicker when you're a little bit behind, and confidence. I feel like most of those things got taken care of tonight. Obviously, it's only one round. But, yeah, just talk us through those things. I mean, your confidence has to be up. You have to feel like you're one of the guys now.
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously, the press day crashes, I almost had a big one yesterday. And luckily, we got out of that one. No press day crashes. So that for me was a big thing. And then, yeah, just minimizing those mistakes that I made on race day. I felt like I rode a lot more mature than I did last year and a lot less sporadic. So I just rode calm, smooth, and just tried to ride like I ride at the test track. So I think we showed that tonight, and I definitely think I'm one of the title contenders for this year.
Sir?
Did you almost get off balance in that first lap in the sand? Looked like you almost went over the berm a little bit.
Yeah, I got a little squirrely in the sand first lap. Wasn't too happy about it.
All right,
thanks, man.
This question also for Julian. Michael, 23 Media. Congratulations on the podium. Compare last season and you leading or being up front last season, the mentality, and I know that you and I talked about how you were upset that you kind of faded. Walk us through your mentality this season that you were up, you were where you wanted to be this season. I know you and I talked about that, but compare those mindsets that you've had last season. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. But give us that mentality that you had last year compared to you being this season.
Yeah, last year I think I showed good speed, but I didn't necessarily believe that I could do that for 15 minutes plus one lap, and that's the reality of it. I only had one boot camp under my belt. Obviously, it takes a little bit to build a base, like Jordan said. So for me to have that whole season under my belt and then a really strong boot camp this season, I came into the season knowing that I could go 15 plus one all out. So for me, just it was putting everything together, putting everything I do at the test track together, and I think we did that.
Mitch?
Mitch Kendrick, Racer X. Let's go to Jordan and Juju on this one. You guys had a great battle in that heat race. It was back and forth. It was hard fought, but it felt like it was pretty clean racing. Each of you guys answer, did you have a specific section of the track that you were trying to set up passes throughout the night? It seemed like there was maybe a little bit tough to pass. So when you guys were battling, were you setting up a certain section of the track? And just walk us through those battles.
Yeah, I getting the whole shot in heat, and then obviously Julian was riding really good all night. He qualified fastest, and I was kind of struggling in practice with a couple of lines, and in those lines I could hear him get really close to me, and I was second guessing myself really bad, like where's he going, what's he doing, So once I got behind him, it was actually better for me. It actually gave me a little bit of confidence, seeing what he was doing, and but I mean, for me, it was pretty one line tonight. I would say it was kind of hard to pass, a lot of insides. It was slick. It was hard to really get a good drive, and no one was really doing a whole lot of different things, and it was pretty easy to not miss a rhythm or something. So for me, it was just trying to set passes up in the whoops all night.
We have time for one more. Jace?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I really didn't want to pass him where I passed him because obviously he's a veteran, and there was opportunity to pass back there. So I had that set. I knew that line was passable with, but I was like, this is a tricky one. And he made a mistake coming out of the sand, and I was like, I got to go for it. There's 2 laps left. I got to do it now. So I went for it there. I think, yeah, for sure, track was tricky. It was tight. There wasn't very many ways to pass. So when I seen the opportunity, I definitely just had to take it and run with it.
I'm just going to keep this one for you, Juju. It seems like a bunch of dudes left California this year, and a bunch of dudes on the KTM group brands. Was there almost a bit more focus being put into maybe you and Ryder D and a couple of the guys that stayed local? I saw you guys at Parla a couple of weeks ago, and it's like Davies there, Nate Ramsey's there. Just seemed like a lot of firepower in both of you boys being West Coast guys, all of KTM's resources, all of the test tracks. Did that kind of play a part in this off-season that was so good for you?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say necessarily. I think we found a setting pretty early in the off-season. I didn't test that much until I'd say almost closer to A1. I started trying a couple things, and we found an even better setup right before this race. So I think necessarily we didn't test that much. It was more so of just consistent training every single day. Last year I had a lot of crashes during the week, and I think that was just me being overexcited almost. So this year it was lap after lap. We didn't miss a day, and I think that was a big thing for me. Was just every day. We never missed one, so I think that was for sure one of the biggest things.
Congratulations, boys.
Thank you very much to our media and to our athletes, Joe Shimoda, Julian Beaumer, and Jordan Smith, your 250SX top 3. Thank you again. We'll see you guys next weekend in San Diego for round 2.